September of 2023, there was a massive heist in Europe, and over 50,000 liters of what was called liquid gold, which was worth over $500,000, was stolen from a warehouse in Spain. Then later that same year, over $380,000 of the same liquid gold was stolen in Greece. In fact, liquid gold is the most stolen item in Spanish supermarkets to date. Just what is this sought-after liquid gold? Why, it's extra virgin olive oil, of course. And in this episode of the PKD Dietitian Podcast, we are going to take a closer look at what makes EVOO, or extra virgin olive oil, so special and beneficial for your PKD and heart health. Now, before we dive into my love affair with, the benefits of extra virgin olive oil, I just want to briefly talk about two main types of fat. The first is saturated fat, and the second is unsaturated fat. If you've ever heard of omega-3 or omega-6 fatty acids, those are unsaturated fats. Under these two main categories, there are, of course, different variations of fat. For today's episode, I'm going to keep it simple and just focus on the fat in extra virgin olive oil. What I want you to know is that all fat sources, whether they're in oil or in food naturally, actually contain a combination of different types of fat, usually not just one type. And when in studies or promotions or marketing, when you're looking at the nutritional components of a fat, you're often talking about the primary fat in that fat. Looking specifically at extra virgin olive oil, it has a high concentration of what's called monounsaturated fatty acids, MUFAs for short. And it's made up of 73% of those MUFAs. I want to highlight just how amazing those monounsaturated fats, those MUFAs, are for PKD and their benefits for your heart health. Now, MUFAs have been studied extensively and have been shown to have positive effects on heart health, lipid cholesterol profiles, and cardiovascular disease risk. And what we know is that MUFAs are connected with healthier cholesterol, that's the blood lipid patterns, and better blood pressure levels. Both of these are super important for PKD health. The benefits and protective components of olive oil, especially extra virgin olive oil, are well studied regarding heart health. Oleic acid is the main MUFA in extra virgin olive oil. It really is the magic sauce, and it has anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and vascular protective properties. Everything that you want for PKD. This oleic acid has also been shown to help reduce inflammation and inflammatory markers like something called C-reactive protein, which if it's on your labs, it will be CRP. What we know is that higher CRP levels, so higher inflammatory levels, they indicate more damage and more inflammation and are absolutely connected with an increased risk of heart disease. And many of my clients get CRP or another test that's called highly sensitive CRP checked. It lets us know if inflammation is a focus area to address in our nutrition strategy for their PKD health. Even the FDA, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, supports the claim that consuming 1.5 tablespoons of oleic-rich oils, which is extra virgin olive oil, may reduce your risk of coronary heart disease. Extra virgin olive oil is a particularly good addition to your diet if you suffer from any chronic inflammatory condition. And unfortunately, PKD and CKD are both inflammatory conditions. But that isn't all, folks. EVOO has a bunch of other benefits for PKD. Now, you guys know that I love highlighting food to add to your plate, to include that has perks for PKD. I don't want every recommendation you find online or hear about for PKD nutrition to be what you can't or shouldn't have, or what's labeled as bad. First up is antioxidants. These help fight bad LDL and free radicals in your body. And extra virgin olive oil is rich in antioxidants that help get rid of those free radicals. That's a good thing. It protects your body and cells from damage, but it also combats that inflammation. And the ones in extra virgin olive oil also help protect your cholesterol from being oxidized. Now, you don't want your cholesterol to be oxidized. And this is just a fancy way of saying that the LDL cholesterol has gone through a chemical reaction. I like to think of it in the more simple terms that the LDL cholesterol has been activated as quote unquote bad cholesterol. Too much oxidized LDL isn't good. This can actually trigger inflammation in your arteries and is the bad cholesterol that leads to those plaques sticking to them. As a buildup of plaque is what can lead to atherosclerosis, got a little tongue-tied there, and heart disease. I want to pause for a second and talk about why I include medical terms frequently in this podcast. It's so you know what they mean or have at least heard of them. I find terminology to be a big barrier when it comes to understanding research and information around PKD health. And I want to help translate these complicated studies and research and info that's out there into easy to understand concepts for you. My goal is that you understand what something is, why it is either beneficial or harmful, and what you can do regarding dietary changes to support slower progression and healthier kidneys with PKD. Okay, back to the episode. Another benefit in extra virgin olive oil are polyphenols, and these are just a specific type of antioxidants. And I want to mention this particular group of antioxidants because extra virgin olive oil is packed with polyphenols. And these are very potent antioxidants that only come from plants. And research shows these polyphenols help reduce and or slow the progression of heart disease. The polyphenols in extra virgin olive oil help combat that oxidative stress. Yes, that same oxidative stress in the body that contributes to damage and disease progression. Now, I'm not going to go into naming all the different polyphenols, well, because I am positive I will butcher the pronunciations, but what you need to know is that extra virgin olive oil is packed with them. Let's chat a little bit more about heart health and cholesterol and fat. When it comes to HDL cholesterol, which is often referred as the good cholesterol, extra virgin olive oil's potent polyphenols that we just talked about have been shown to improve its levels, to increase levels of HDL. And HDL cholesterol is protective. Not only are higher levels associated with better heart health, but good HDL levels are connected with better outcomes with PKD. You want higher HDL levels because that HDL cholesterol helps combat that negative plaque that can build up in the arteries. And antioxidants, especially this polyphenol group, have been shown to improve the function of HDL. I like to think of it as supercharging the HDL. In addition to helping increase the HDL, extra virgin olive oil has also been shown to help reduce the bad LDL, that one that we want to prevent from oxidizing and from turning bad. So it's a double positive whammy there. So I just want to summarize and highlight the heart health aspect of extra virgin olive oil. Hundreds of studies have shown that increased consumption of extra virgin olive oil is linked with lower risk of heart disease and stroke. Here are some of the research-backed benefits. We already talked about it helps decrease inflammation, and inflammation is a driver of heart disease. We already talked about it helps protect that LDL from turning bad, from being oxidized. It also helps improve blood vessel health. You want healthy blood vessels and a healthy lining to them because that impacts better blood pressure. Piggybacking off of that, it's been shown to help lower blood pressure. There's definitely a connection between extra virgin olive oil and better blood pressure management. There you have it, a nice overview of the perks for PKD that extra virgin olive oil has. To shift a little bit now, I want you to picture this. So you're at the grocery store, you're in the aisle for oils, and half of the aisle is dedicated to different oils, including olive oils. There are so many. And the real question is, does type matter? And the short answer is yes. Extra virgin olive oil comes from mechanically pressing or crushing fresh olives, which, by the way, are officially a fruit. And by pressing them, they're extracting the oil. There are many different types of oil on the shelf. Looking at olive oil, you'll find light olive oil, regular olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and several other different types. Of them, you will get the most health benefits from extra virgin olive oil. This is because it's only been mechanically processed. It hasn't been bleached. There's been no chemicals added. It is the highest grade and least processed of the olive oils. Extra virgin olive oil is what you want to get because it is that type of olive oil that is rich in antioxidants and those polyphenols. Have you heard about the Mediterranean diet and perhaps the heart healthy benefits associated with it? Well, guess what? A large portion of those heart healthy benefits associated with the Mediterranean diet can be attributed to their consumption of extra virgin olive oil because it's a staple in the diet. In fact, up to 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil a day isn't uncommon. Back to the grocery store aisle of confusion. Here are 4 things that I want you to look for when you are buying extra virgin olive oil to ensure you know you're buying the good stuff. Number 1, look for extra virgin olive oil that is cold pressed. What this means is it's not refined, it's a natural product, and it hasn't undergone anything but that mechanical pressing. So it's got no refining with high heat, no bleaching with chemicals, or blending with other oils. This is the good stuff. Number 2, that it comes in a dark bottle. Extra virgin olive oil is sensitive to light, and so a dark bottle will keep it fresher longer and also help it keep all those good nutritional properties. Number 3, check for a harvest date on the bottle. Many of the extra virgin olive oils sold on the market aren't fresh. Not every bottle is going to have a harvest date, but if it does, that is a good sign. And number 4, look for a quality seal, like that from the California Olive Oil Council, or look for a QMP seal, which is from the USDA. I've linked out what that looks like in the show notes if you want to take a look. A good brand you can find at the majority of grocery stores is California Ranch Extra Virgin Olive Oil. I've also linked that out in the show notes, so take a look so you know what to look for and will recognize a good quality olive oil to purchase. When it comes to the question of how much an extra virgin olive oil, know this, adding it on top of a highly processed or Western style diet is not magic. You want to consume and cook with and use extra virgin olive oil in conjunction with a whole food pattern. So your first step to benefiting from extra virgin olive oil intake is to replace your refined oils with it. It's a super easy step, guys. So toss those canola oils, toss those soybean oils out, and use extra virgin olive oil because it's full of antioxidants and heart-healthy fats. And there you have it. Extra virgin olive oil or liquid gold is hands down the way to go for the healthiest olive oil and oil to include in your diet. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and found it valuable. I'm Diana, the PKD Dietitian, and until next time, happy and healthy eating.